Hey everyone, it's Priscilla from Assist Queen Crochet, and today I am excited. I'm going to be showing you how to do the Suzette crochet stitch. I think it's also called the grit stitch. I mean, look at that. Alright, so a lot of you guys always ask, what can I make with this stitch? So before we get started, I have a few examples. I think it would be great for a dishcloth, especially if you have cotton yarn, a blanket, a bag, and also a scarf. I think those are great projects for the stitch. It looks great in one color, or as you can see, in different colors. It's kind of like, to me, the texture looks like stripes, which is why I really like it. I think it's really cool. So yeah, so what you need to know for this stitch is how to do a slip knot, a chain, a single crochet, and a double crochet. If you don't know how to do any of these, don't worry, I have links below for each stitch, so you can jump right in after you learn the single crochet, double crochet. So yeah, in the description below, tutorials for each stitch. But yeah, without further ado, let's get a closer look at the stitch and then we'll get into the tutorial. Alright, so let's get into learning the Suzette and or grit stitch. Okay, so I'm using a 5mm hook, also called an H, and I'm using Red Heart Retro Stripes yarn because I love the colors. I'll link everything below. Alright, so if you hear me breathing, I'm sorry, my face is really close to my phone, which I'm recording on, so if you hear me breathing, I apologize. Okay, so let's start off with a slip knot. Don't forget everything you need to know, the slip knot, the chain, single crochet, and double crochet. I linked every tutorial below in case you want to learn how to do them all before you start this. Those are the foundations for this stitch. So make a slip knot and put it on your hook. All right, and now we're going to need to chain an even amount of chains, as in 2, 4, 6, 8, continue on. So I'm going to start off with, let's say 12 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, you can start off with a single crochet row if you would like to, and that's what I'm going to do today. You can also just jump in and do the Suzette stitch immediately, but the single crochet row will kind of help it be like a nice even bottom. So I'm going to start off with a single crochet row. So to do that, we're going to go to our chains and we are going to skip the last chain that we did, and we're going to start in the second chain from our hook, this one. So I'm going to go into the second chain from our hook and start my single crochet row. So I'm going to go into that chain and do a single crochet. Then I'm going to the next chain, do a single crochet, continuing on until I get to the end of my first row. So after you do your single crochet, your first row, you're going to end up with an odd amount of stitches because we skipped the first chain. Just keep that in mind in case you want to count and make sure that you have the right amount of stitches. We're going to have an odd amount. So I just single crocheted across my first row. I started off with 12 chains. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 single crochet stitches. Okay, let's go on to the Suzette stitch, row 2. So we're going to turn our work like this. Boop. To start off our row, the repeat row, they're going to keep doing until you get to the end. Start off with the chain 1. Now, don't go into the chain 1, does not count as a stitch. We're going to go into our first stitch right here. And into our first stitch, which is the last stitch of our last row, we're going to do a single crochet into our first stitch. But wait, there's more. We're also going to do a double crochet into that same stitch we just went into. So in the first stitch, we have a single crochet and a double crochet. As you can see right here. Awesome. Now we're going to skip the next stitch. We're going to go into the next stitch after that. So skip one stitch. Into the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet and double crochet in the same stitch. So in case you're really new to crochet, you don't know what that means. So once again, skip the next stitch. See this next stitch that we're going into? We're going to do a single crochet and into the same exact stitch, which is kind of like an increase. We're doing a double crochet in the same stitch that we did the single crochet into. It looks like this because they're both in the same stitch. So we have single double, skip a stitch, single double, skip a stitch, single double, skip a stitch. So guess what we're going to do next? We're going to skip a stitch, and the next stitch we're going to do a single crochet, double crochet. And at this point you probably catch the drift of what the stitch is looking like. All right, skip a stitch, next stitch, single crochet, double crochet in the same stitch. Now, when you get to the last 2 stitches of your row, you're going to skip a stitch. In the last stitch, we're going to just do 1 single crochet. We're not going to do single and double into it. So into the last stitch, just do a single crochet stitch. Obviously pause if your beginning chain is longer, you need to catch up. Just remember, after you skip a stitch, in your last stitch, you're just going to do 1 single crochet. All right, so here is our first row of the actual Suzette stitch. Quick, sorry, I have my camera, I'm so sorry. So, quick recap. Chain 1 to start your row. Into your first stitch, single crochet and double crochet in the same stitch. Skip a stitch, single crochet, double crochet. Repeat all the way down until you get to your last 2 stitches. Skip the first of the last 2. And the last stitch, single crochet. All right, let's do another row. So we turn our work. All right, so to start the row, you guessed it, we're going to chain 1, and then guess what we're going to do? We're going to repeat the last row. That's why it's like a really nice 1 row repeat stitch. I kind of love it. So into our first stitch, do a single crochet and a double crochet in the same stitch. Next stitch, we're going to skip. In the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet and double crochet. Now here's like a little tip. Okay, so if you look, you can see that we are skipping over all of our double crochets. You can kind of tell what it looks like in the previous row. And we're only doing stitches into the single crochet. So for example, we just did our single double. We're going to skip the next stitch, which happens to be a double crochet. You can tell because it's taller. And we're going to go into our next stitch, which is single crochet. Into that one, we're going to do our single crochet and our double crochet. So if we get like lost and confused, just know that we're crocheting into all of our singles and we're skipping our doubles. So skip the next stitch. Into the next one, we're going to do a single and a double crochet. Skip the next stitch. Into the next one, single crochet and double crochet. And then when we get to our last two stitches, I cannot talk, skip the next stitch. In the last stitch, just do a single crochet. And that is the Suzette stitch. Now you can just end off whenever you get to the end. You can just end off with a single crochet row if you would like to, or just continue on and stop with the Suzette stitch. It's up to you completely. I will probably end with a single crochet row just so it matches the first row that I did. I'll probably end up doing the single crochet on the same direction as the top. So yeah, that is a Suzette, aka Grit stitch as well. If you have any questions, please comment below, and also just like this video and comment. It supports my channel. I want to have more tutorials, so comment below and I might do the tutorial that you request depending on if it fits my channel or not. But yeah, comment below what tutorials you want to see next. This is a really great stitch for dishcloths. If you have like cotton yarn, or make like a blanket out of it, it's good for so many different things. Maybe even a hat. That'd be a really cool kind of hat stitch. But also, real quick, if you want to count your rows correctly, you can kind of tell your rows by the clusters of singles and doubles. So for example, here is a single and double. That's a cluster, so I know that's one row. And above it is another single and double. So I can tell that that's another row. You can tell how many rows you have by counting the clusters, kind of like zigzag like. Anyway, have an awesome day, my crochet kings and queens, and I'll see you next time and watch one of these videos next. But yeah, have an awesome day and comment below what kind of things you would make with this stitch. Bye guys.